Here at COP21 here at Paris, I've been rather surprised at how delegations and countries have not given oceans the level of importance that it should. And so there's been a lot of toing and froing about taking it out of the text and putting it back and so forth. And I would have thought that that's something that is non-negotiable. We shouldn't be discussing, do we need to have the oceans in the text or not? I mean, that's surprising to me, someone who lives in the Pacific region where the oceans is 98% of our total territory. And so it's something that's we don't take for granted at all. But outside of COP21, we don't need a document, even if it doesn't make any reference to the oceans. We don't need a document to tell us what to do. We are taking action to manage our oceans, to protect our oceans. Our oceans is life to us in every aspect of our lives, our livelihoods, our nourishment, our culture, our sustainable development. The oceans offer us every form of support in terms of life. And so for us it's non-negotiable. Everything revolves around the ocean. It's about a third of the Earth's surface. And so you can imagine how vast that area is. We're often referred to as small island developing states. But with a third of the Earth's surface in terms of oceans, I think they should be calling us large ocean island states. And so there's an enormous responsibility on Pacific Island countries to actually seek help and assistance to enable them to manage their oceans. We know the impact of climate change on oceans. We know how important oceans are in terms of the fight against climate change. It absorbs 24-25% of all global emissions. That's how important it is. But that ability to be able to take in emissions and carbon dioxide is being threatened right now by global warming. And so we need to do something to reduce emissions so that the sea or the oceans is not threatened in any way. Once that balance is affected, it's going to affect our livelihoods, because we're talking about coral reefs, we're talking about mangroves, we're talking about marine mammals, whales, dolphins, dugongs, turtles. We're talking about seagrasses, we're talking about salt marshes and so forth. So there's an enormous importance that we place on our marine environment, because it's a source of livelihoods for us. It's an enormous opportunity for tourism for the Pacific. But if that is threatened in any way, then our own survival is threatened as well. So whilst we're here at COP21 talking about climate change and how important it is, and it is important for us, I guess that's my only disappointment, is although it's back in the text now, but in the preambular part of the draft text, but for us it's just non-negotiable. But whether or not it's given that level of importance by the global community in the draft text or agreement, for us it doesn't stop us from taking action and doing what's necessary and what's needed to manage and protect our oceans.